morning, welcome to this Mark's Reviews and Tutorials video. We are going to show you how to assemble an electric e-bike or an e-bike today. And this one here is a VALK, but they're going to be pretty similar. We're going to be putting the wheels on, putting the pedals on, putting it all together, the battery and so forth, so we'll show you how all that works. So start off with, let's unbox. So here's our first look inside, and got ourselves a VALK box. Guessing that's the battery. Wheel, frame, handlebars, that's all zip tied together. Yep. Mud guards. Put the usable stuff over here. There's the battery. Oh, that's heavy. So there we have the battery. It's interesting. I know it's removable, which is great. We're going to be working on this box for a bit and then cutting up at the end in order to get rid of it. So I'm actually going to take the time to get the staples out too, so they don't get cut to pieces. If you just straighten them up and then pull them backwards like that, and then bend them straight, pull them out, but get all of those out, then you're not going to scratch yourself as you pull things out. Okay, so here's a bit of the reveal. There we go. Pretty fancy. Now we just got to cut these zip ties away to get all the individual parts out. So busily unpacking here, cutting all the zip ties off, and have a look at this. A push bike with keys. There's a first. So interesting. I wonder if it locks the battery on or what it does, but keys for my bike. Very cool. Tell you what, I like what I'm seeing so far. Really good quality, like the look. There's where the battery mounts in, top and bottom. And there's a little trip computer on here. Really good, substantial looking front shocks. So very happy with what I'm seeing so far. Leading edge on the gooseneck. Looking good. Happy. We've just got to cut away that front wheel and stand it out and then start to assemble it. And here's the business end of it here. That's where the motor is. You can see through there's a disc brake on the back. But yeah, in the hub there is where the motor is. To pick an e-bike, you're looking at a hub motor there, or you can also get a motor in on the crank here and a battery. They're the things that you look for when you're looking if a bike is an e-bike or not. Okay, so we have all the wrapping off now. Very impressed with how it's looking with the disc brakes on the back there, disc brake caliper down there on the front as well. The light, and it looks like a horn or something out the back of it. Very impressed so far. Very, very impressed. Okay, so we're going to start off by putting the handlebars on, and the trip computer is in place, so it sort of gives you a good idea of where it's going to be, and also your cables. So what we're going to do, there's just 4 Allen keys on the front here. We're just going to take that bracket there off the front. You can do it just with a little Allen key, a right angle thing, or do it a bit quicker with a drill. Okay, so the bracket's off, and this is just going to lift up here into position. We're going to need this up in that sort of position there. We can adjust it later. We'll get it on and get it tight. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description to this exact bike and similar models. So if you're after one, you can have a look at the link I put up. I've got some pretty good places to buy it at a good price online. So check those out. So now this bracket just goes back on the front, and that trip computer is really going to get in the way. We then put these back in. Like that. There we go, that's started. And just start them diagonally opposite if you can, and then that'll hold it in place. There we go, just start it, get it in like that, and then do those up tight. Work out where you're going to want your brakes. Brakes in the gears, that's what's going to be changing. So, oh, look at that. Oh, I like that. Very fancy. Bars are on. Next step is the wheels. Now these great big black things here, these are for transport. So we take these off so that the bolts don't pop holes in the box. Take these off, and also there's a cross plate down the bottom. We take that off, and then we're ready to mount the front brake and mount it into the disc. And by the way, no instructions came with this. No book, no manual, no instructions. So these protectors, just give them a yank. Like that. There's just a little pin, and then they come out. Okay, Okay, so as the brakes here is leading forward and this assembly, the mudguard, and that's back. So I'm pretty sure, well I am sure, that this needs to turn around to go this way so that this is leading and forward, and so the brake is to the back. I've then loosened off these so that we can then turn the steering wheel around to the right direction like that. So then we'll tighten these up and we're in business. Now it's time to open the black box, find out what's inside. Okay, we have a battery charger. We have a little bum bag with a patch kit, tools, oh my gosh. We have, oh, little multi-tool with Allen keys, spanners, and we have pedals. That'll be helpful. Nice set of tools. Let's have a quick look at this. Yeah, set of Allen keys and a square block, screwdrivers, and little sockets inside. Have a look at that. That's what that square block will be for. It'll be for driving the sockets. Little toolkit to come with your bike. And a little spanner inside here. Okay, so next we're going to install the seat. And that really is extremely simple. We just undo this clamp here, get it nice and loose. So then to install the seat, you just put the tube in, fire it down, get it to roughly what you want. We'll adjust this sort of stuff later, but put it in and then swing that handle across. Swinging this handle across does lock it in place. And if you're not quite happy, it needs to be pretty tight, then you can back it off and screw the nut up a bit. And then when you do it up, it'll be much tighter. There you go, that's better. And then do it up. It's got a bit of firmness to it. That'll hold the seat in place. Okay, so now we're going to put the front wheel on, and it needs to be upside down in order to do that, so that we can lower it into here. And you'll notice also very important that you spin your little console thing out of the way. You don't want to smash it before you get to have your first ride of your bike. Now, very important, on the front wheel attached to this there was a quick release system. This is this system here. On this bike it was just stuck onto the forks. Don't go on doing these bolts. These are all preset for your bearings through the front. So leave all that there. The quick release just pokes through the hole in the middle and goes through, and then we drop this into the slot and do it up. So there we go. We drop him in, and it's the same thing about tensioning this up. You can hold the other side and adjust it so it's just nice and firm. As I said, don't go playing with that nut. Leave that set as it is. Make sure that the disc brake goes into the slot in your disc brake rotors there. Like that. It needs to run into the caliper like that. It also said in the manual to put the release handle not on the disc brake side. You obviously don't want that fouling and carrying on over here, so you stick it on the other side. So what I'm going to do now, we undo the clamp like that, and then we'll do this up, holding it. We'll do it up tighter and then do the clamp up so it holds the wheel in place. Now the check you need to do down here, you make sure it's exactly equal distance between here and here, and that's how you tell that your wheel's square and true. There you go. I just tightened up the nut by screwing it. I needed two hands to do it until it was just touching, and then pulled the lever over. And because it's your front wheel, I did it. You want it to be pretty tight. You don't want it loose or floppy. So do it up enough so that when it comes over tight and it's not going to come undone. That's it. Your front wheel is on. Absolutely straightforward and quick. Next, you're going to put the pedals on, and the big tip to remember on the pedals is that there's a left and a right, so they don't undo themselves as you're pedaling along, so the threads are different. They'll only go in one direction. Your pedals, and if it's not marked left and right, they are on the end of the pedals there. This is the right, which goes on the right side of the bike, but just give it a loose spin, and if it's right, it'll go straight in like that. And we are going to nib these up with a spanner. See, that's going in just with the friction of the pedal, but then you need to go more than finger tight than that. We've got to get a spanner onto there. We'll tighten it up. Before we do that, we'll put the other pedal on the other side and then nib them up together. Okay, so to get the pedals up, just to nib them up tight, just brace one pedal against your leg like that, and the other one, give it a nice nib up tight like that. This, again, it's your pedal, so make sure it's done up nice and tight. and do the same on the other side. That's a 15mm spanner, and it just goes on the flat of the pedal there. Okay, now it's starting to look like a bike, looking good. This seat just needs to tilt, adjusted this way to level it out. And there's a light hanging off there, and it came with mud guards as well. So the light and the mud guards are going to fit on to this bolt here and to here. So let's start off with the front mud guard and the light.